Hello everyone, welcome to Homemade Science. I'm so glad that you can join me for this program today. And today we are going to be making butter. Yep, we're going to make yummy butter right at home. So I'm going to show you what you're going to need to do this. So the first thing that you're going to need is a container. And your container needs to have a lid that fits on tightly. It could be a mason jar or it could be a smaller container as well. It's entirely up to you. The bigger the jar, the more butter you're going to make. So keep that in mind when you choose the container that you're going to use. Most importantly, it has to have a lid that fits tightly. Then you're going to need some heavy whipping cream. And it's important that you have heavy whipping cream because you can't use regular milk to make this because it doesn't have enough of fat content. This will make nice butter. Then you're also going to need a bowl, and you'll need that later on for rinsing, and a strainer. Then after your butter's made, if you want to add some flavors, you could make honey butter with some honey if you want. You don't have to, but it's something that you can add if you like. Or if you want to make salted butter, you can add some salt. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you're going to need. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are ready to get started. The first thing that we're going to do, since this is a food project, we are going to wash our hands. So make sure your hands are nice and clean because we're going to make butter in this jar and we want to make sure that we don't get any germs or anything in there. Okay, after you've washed your hands, you're going to get your cream. Here, I've got my cream. And you're going to pour it halfway into your container. So you want to make sure that you don't go over about halfway, and depending how big your container is, you will need a different quantity. So that looks just about halfway for my container. So you can just kind of guess what is more or less halfway. And then after you've poured it in, you're going to take the lid of your jar. For my lid, it kind of comes apart, and that's fine. Put that on, and then I'm going to tightly put this on so that I can begin the next step. Okay, we're all set there with our heavy whipping cream in our jar. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start shaking it. Now we're going to have to shake this for a while, so I'm not going to keep you on camera while I'm shaking it the whole time. So we'll keep shaking it for about 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll tell you when you're going to stop. So I'm just going to keep shaking mine until it gets to the point where I'm ready to stop. Okay, let's get shaking. So I've been shaking this just for a couple of minutes, and I want to show you where we're at in terms of making our butter. So let me unscrew the top and just show you, if you look in here, if you can see, it's starting to get thicker. It's definitely starting to get well mixed. It's looking more like whipping cream right now. So I need to keep shaking it for another couple minutes, and I'll let you know when it's ready. Okay, let's keep shaking. I just want to show you where I'm at and give you another quick update. As I was shaking at the beginning, I could hear the whipping cream going back and forth, and now all of a sudden it got super quiet. Do you see how thick it is? We're getting really close. So I think I just need to shake it for another minute or two, and then we should be getting close to having butter. Okay, let me just keep going for another couple minutes. So I think we're getting very close here. I just want to show you how it's looking. It's getting very, very close. So I'm just going to keep shaking this until I hear that a lump has formed in here. Okay, so let me just keep going for another minute or two. So as I was shaking it, all of a sudden I hear a different sound, and it sounds like the solid butter in the jar. Okay, so I think that we're pretty much getting there. Let me just shake for another moment to make sure that it's completely formed. But you can see the solid part and then the liquid part. Okay, we're almost done. So exciting. Okay, we definitely have butter in here. It looks very liquidy, but that's just how it's separated. I have the solid butter and then the liquid that is buttermilk. So let's open it up and see how it looks. There we go. You can see the solid and then the liquid. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to use my strainer to separate the buttermilk and the butter. And if you want to use a container to keep your buttermilk, some people like to cook with buttermilk or bake with it. So I'm just going to do that now as my next step. Okay, so here I have my bowl and my strainer. So I'm just going to take my mixture that I have here and I'm going to pour it in. So that is all the buttermilk. And then the butter is going to come out. Look at that! We made butter! That's so exciting! So exciting. So if you want to keep this as buttermilk, if you want to bake with it, that's fine, you can do that. But I'm going to get some water now to rinse this off. Because this doesn't have any preservatives or anything in it, we want to make sure that we rinse it well because the buttermilk doesn't keep very well. So I'm going to rinse that a few times just to make sure that it's nice and clean. Okay, let me go get some water to rinse it. So I've drained out the buttermilk and I'm just left with my butter. So I'm going to use some cold, clean water to rinse it off. I'm just going to pour that on top and rinse it off. And you want to do that until all of the buttermilk is gone off there. And I've already washed my hands, so I'm going to touch it, that's fine. And it feels really good actually. I'm going to just make sure it's all nice and clean. There we go. So I might just get some more cold water. I'm going to pour this water out and get some more cold, clean water to rinse it off again. So I'm going to rinse my butter again just to make sure that it's nice and clean. And you might want to do this a couple of times just until the water that's running off is completely clear. Okay, so here we go. Well, my water's looking pretty clear there, so I think I'll just finish this and then I think we're all set with cleaning off our butter. There we go. That's our butter. Okay, so I'm going to put it in a bowl and then I think I'll add maybe some honey and see how it tastes. The fun part, we get to taste it. Yay! So I have here a couple of bowls that I'm going to put my butter into. One of them I'm just going to use for the normal butter without any flavors, and the other I think I'm going to use some honey and see how that tastes. So here is my butter and I'm just going to divide it. Maybe I'll just put it in here first and then I'll divide it to try half just as regular butter and the other half with some honey. More in here. Okay, so this one I'm just going to keep as butter, and the other one I think I'll add some honey and we'll see how that tastes. Hopefully it'll be good. And you can add as much honey as you like. You might like it very sweet, so you can add a little more, or you might not like it so sweet. I'm going to start by using just a teaspoon of honey and see how that tastes. So here we go. Just going to add in a teaspoon. Just like that. Oh, that looks so good. Just pour that over. And then I'm going to mix it in. Here's my honey. I'll just close that up. Okay, so let's give it a mix. And you can add more or less honey. It also depends how big your butter is. So if you've got a big batch of butter, you might need to add more honey. If you have a smaller batch of butter, you can maybe add less. And I'm just going to mix this in pretty well, just to make sure we're not getting a big chunk of honey there. Although you might like that if you like a big chunk of honey, that's okay too. And you could even try things like herbs or cinnamon, whatever you think would be good, you can try. Okay, I think that's mixed in pretty well. Okay, now the fun part, to try it. Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see me as I try the regular butter and then the honey butter. Yay, can't wait. So here we are, we have made our butter, we flavored it, and now it's time to taste it. So this one is just the regular butter, no flavors, no honey or anything added to it. So I've got a piece of bread here. I'm just gonna put a piece of my butter onto the bread. I'm gonna spread it over like this. Wow, I can't believe we made butter. That's so impressive and so exciting. I can't wait to see what it tastes like. Okay, I'm just spreading it a little bit over here. Now, time for a bite. Here goes. Wish me luck, hope it's good. Wow. That's really good. I can't believe I made butter and it tastes so good. Okay, now time for the honey one. This is the one that we mixed the honey into. And I'm dying to try it because I love honey butter. So I've got another piece of bread. I'm just gonna spread the honey butter onto it. Just to try it. And spread it over. Okay, here goes. This is the honey one. And I'm sure it's gonna taste really good too. Wow. It's really good. If you like it sweeter, you can add more honey. And even after you make it like this, you can add more honey if you want to. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed making this with me, and I hope that you try this at home. It's really easy and it's so much fun, and it's also yummy. Okay, everyone, see you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.